you know, we went all the way to Carmel and back.
I worked like crazy yesterday to take advantage of that warm weather. After, I don't know how many loads I got. We had
Oh,
the
of your firewood.
Asplund guy, well, no, just the wood chips.
Oh.
Guys that told them to dump at our place.
Oh,
So they dumped and dumped.
now you
Dumped
use
and dumped and
those?
dumped. So for the tree trimmers, for the power lines.
Yeah.
So they must have dumped like 12 loads at our place. I mean, it was just, it's
What do
looking a
you
little
do
rough.
with them?
It ain't looking great, but it's looking a little rough at the head of my driveway. Anyway, but we use a lot of wood chips. I cover my entire garden in it. We have
Okay.
flower beds and everything else, but anyway, man, I put the hurt to it yesterday.
Takes a while for them to break down, but man, that's good.
Oh, man, it's.
Do you have like?
Oh, my garden, it was clay. It now it's black. That far down, it is black. And you don't dig it in, you just put it on top. You move the stuff aside, plant your garden in it.
Do
and then
you,
hardly
oh,
any
you do?
weeds.
You don't like till it?
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Don't ever need it. Yep.
I think you got it.
Ready?
Ready to go, bro.
Call this meeting to order.
Tracy, do you know if Chris ever sent a letter to JC about?
He wouldn't do that directly.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he wouldn't do that directly. He would,
Do that to his attorney?
well, he would let us know what he's sending before he sends it.
Oh, okay, okay.
I
I just wonder if that.
I do that.
What?
President.
Present?
Pres-
Need to go next.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go in a circle.
Debbie Haskell, just board member.
You wanna go? No.
I'm
You're just.
not.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
in
Aaron Warner.
attendance,
I'm the
but
secretary.
Yeah, the three of you need to establish a
present.
quorum.
Everybody's here, so we got a quorum.
Okay.
Not just a member. Member,
I know
Deborah.
she says that every time.
Well, I mean, I don't have a position.
person,
It's
like
okay with
hell.
me. I'm fine. I do have a position. I'm a member.
Elected official.
Yes, true. Okay. So our order of business,
I guess the first thing to talk about is this fire department.
okay,
I haven't talked to JC, but we've been talking about things and I feel like we're probably gonna have to stay with him again another year until we can figure something else out. I think we need to hash out what we're gonna tell him before we get a hold of him and drag him into this.
yeah, I agree. I feel like I mean, I know when I had a problem at school, because I wanted to be able to speak for myself, you know, I respond to our concerns. That's my thing. I'm not trying to skew it one way or another. I don't care. I want us to have good fire protection. But if somebody's going to make accusations and, you know, we have concerns, they should be addressed, is my opinion. Let's say what I thought.
And I don't think we have much of a choice at this point.
Right.
With
I think to
2
move,
days to the 31st.
Right.
I'm not sure we have.
well, to move forward, I'm just saying, I feel like we need to clear the air because,
Oh,
you
I
know,
think sure.
we need to,
And we can't,
As I recall from the last meeting, when we had Chris present, he was going to include some of those concerns in the document, the communication, along with the contract, the proposed contract. And that was where I thought we were moving with this. The conversation would be, you guys would come up with concerns that you have, things you want to see addressed, what your priorities are as far as fire protection is concerned, so that those can be addressed. So as far as the contract, I mean, I think the contract's going to look very much like what previous contracts have looked like, only if we have some concerns about the fire protection and responses, then we need to
be like
address those
more
appropriately.
stipulated or something, is that like,
I mean, the thing is, if we have a contract For fire protection and EMS,
Mhm.
the contract is there. It is the responsibility of the contracted party to show up.
Correct. And it is a volunteer fire department. We do have to remember that. They all are. So
Yes.
the people that show up are the people that can. You know, if you have a volunteer fire department, you cannot show up when you have a job. And everybody on a volunteer fire department does have a job.
So 100% of his staff down there are volunteer?
No,
Because that wasn't my understanding.
Tracy, I'm not referring to him. In
Well-
general is what I'm saying.
Okay, but not every
He's
fire
paid,
department
yeah.
is volunteer.
Well, oh, I get that.
Believe me,
I,
one
you
other
know,
person in town.
unfortunately.
Is someone there 24 hours a day at that station? To-
Well, I think you know what, that's what we need to be like writing down, right? I mean, maybe we could just keep a
I'm gonna
separate,
start on a separate page, I'm gonna start
Yeah,
writing
like
down
a-
questions.
yeah. yeah, what are our concerns?
Because if someone's there, well, the great thing is they get a truck. That's it. That's the most important thing
Right.
is to get that truck on the road to the
Correct.
scene. And,
Yes,
you know, and then whoever does show up, one person can start doing the hose and
Correct.
everything else too.
yes,
Is someone on staff 24 hours.
And it's not just fire, it is EMS too.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you mentioned hoses, but sometimes it doesn't have to be a fire truck that goes out. Sometimes
No.
it is just a,
yeah. It
Response
usually
vehicle.
was the EMS people first period. Back in the day, I know Kevin Kress, you know, a lot of Bill Nickerson, Bill with or without his fire truck was there. And so was, what did I just say? I can't even think.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Kress, but he doesn't live around here anymore, but he was an awesome EMS guy. That's Bill's son. Yeah, Kevin is Bill Kress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is available, these stay on YouTube, right? Are these all on YouTube or where do these go?
well, the updated guidelines, as I understand it, is that with our smaller townships, that we need to keep them in our possession for 90 days, and after 90 days, they can be disposed of if nobody's requesting them. It did just ask me for YouTube access, so this may be going directly to the YouTube site, and that's fine. Making it
don't know.
immediately
We don't-
available. I can go check, but using this third-party service, I'm not recording through YouTube because we don't have enough subscribers to do that. But it's, as I understand it, connected to YouTube, but nobody's asking for the recordings at this point. I have mentioned to you guys on the email and on the text that there is some criteria that they're going to be looking at as far as which townships are going to be potentially closed versus all potentially closed. So they're looking at whether or not things are getting done that should be getting done. And they're looking at fire protection and what kind of contract you have and whether or not you have your own.
We're gonna be the first one to be closed.
Well, okay, so there's nothing that's been decided.
Yeah.
There is no bill number out there, but our best case scenario looks to be about 1/3 of all townships will be closed. And one of the criteria is whether or not you have your own volunteer fire department or if you contract with somebody else. The first ones to go will be the townships that don't have any kind of contract and just rely on mutual aid for neighboring
For
fire
assist.
departments to show up, and those like us who just have a contract where we make a payment twice a year.
When do you think this may happen? Closing of townships or whatever? When do you?
I don't know. The conversations, the conversation's been around for years. Like
Mhm.
closing townships has been a threat for quite some time. But right after I had sent that message out to you guys, there was a Zoom meeting to go to where there are 8 criteria they're going to look at. If you get 4 points, then this is the proposed, like I said, this is the best case scenario out of the proposal so far, is that if you get 4 points, then your township would be one that would be closed. So some criteria have 1 point,
So
some
it's negative
criteria have.
criteria they're saying. So a
Yes.
negative criteria would be you have no fire department. and that
Well,
would
they're
be
looking,
one.
what they're really looking at is the amount of workload. And if you don't have your own volunteer fire department, then your workload is less.
Yeah.
If you don't have as many requests for financial
For aid
assistance,
or for-
then if if your budget is if a small enough number, like each one of these has points attached to it, along with other things like whether or not your board is filled, if you have like a partial board, or if the trustee's position is filled, whether or not the documents are uploaded on time. Several different versions of like whether or not things have been uploaded on time. And this is not looking at just the most recent year. The proposal is that they're going to look at 24, 25, and 24 was a rough year for getting stuff uploaded because I came in and uploaded about a half a year's worth of documentation at the end of the year. And actually re-uploaded it again at the beginning of the year as things got cleared up.
Interested in asking him face to face then to say, hey, we do have an interest of restarting. We have a person who's
No.
interested.
I don't think we tell him any of that.
I think he already knows.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure he
yeah,
already
no.
knows that.
Do we say then, okay, so forget that part. Do we say, we might be interested in wanting our fire, equipment back?
We've already had this discussion of allowing Chris to do the negotiations on this.
Okay.
Like,
I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to find out
so
what questions we want to
So,
ask.
so here's, we need to be able to give, Chris what our priorities are and what our concerns are.
So should we have a list here of not questions for JC, but
Yeah,
concerns
this is,
for Chris to
yeah,
put in
because
the letter?
yeah, we need to let JC know that, we've had some discussions about concerns.
I thought Chris wrote those down, didn't he?
So this isn't just a 1-year deal. I mean, we're gonna have to figure out a way to keep this thing going and keep funding it because it's gonna need more money. I mean, you're looking.
This is
at-
not an easy
No.
job.
no,
No,
it's
this is
not.
not an easy job.
I
But
wish that everybody that cares now would have stepped up and cared back then because our hands were totally tied in that. We had no choice.
No.
So now we gotta deal with it. So this is a forever thing. Like you're gonna have to try to fundraise and get people to draw in the community, and we're gonna have to do something to make people wanna come here, wanna live here, wanna be here, wanna stay here, wanna pay taxes here, wanna spend money here. That's what's gonna take. It's not just buy a truck, get some gear and throw somebody in it. It's an all.
You have to get people invested, people in our community
But
invested.
we have people right now who are asking, what is the status of this? Is this going to move forward? Because the people that have been interested in being on our potential new volunteer fire department, they want to know whether or not we're moving on it.
So
Well, I don't think, would we move on it at this point? I don't feel comfortable just all of a sudden we're people that are interested. How do we know? And I don't know. And what are we gonna do for a fire truck? And I know he said, I'm just not, I think, personally, I would like to see us work together, build some people here in Linton Township to work with JC at this point, and then if we build enough that we can,
So you think that
Well,
JC
separate.
should be part of us starting our own volunteer fire department?
No, I didn't say- okay.
I'm not understanding.
Township to
Okay.
step up and be firefighters. That would help, not
These are
somebody
people-
who just moved to the area and wants to start. I mean, I appreciate the help, but
Right,
we need
but
more active
recruited
members in our
people-
community, you know?
some of these
So how do
recruited
you do
people
that?
do live here.
So where they at?
I'm not putting their names out there.
well, see, but then
And I
that's the
don't-
same thing, like,
I mean, the thing is,
To
I
me,
told
that's all
him,
hearsay. I don't.
and that's fine, and I understand that, but I also have to respect the interested party's time, and I've
I
told
get
them
that.
that I don't see any way for things to get rolling by January 1st. It cannot happen. There aren't enough business days left in the
Right.
year to get things done. What I can tell you is that, there is a potential truck out there, the turnout gear's out there. There are volunteers that are out there. We've got a volunteer fire chief that wants to move forward with it.
I mean, if you find something. get
I'm not
something
doing
going,
it.
I'm not above getting on the fire department and going out and helping out put up fires. I'd love it. But
Okay,
we need more than just,
Right.
And I understand that,
you
but
know,
I'm,
for starters, like, first thing is when we have a meeting, we gotta get it out there that there's even a meeting. People don't know that. You know, how do you do that?
We
That's
advertise.
a great start, you know?
That'd be, probably. be
We
social
all work
media.
together on that.
And I don't do it, I may have
But,
to,
but the people that are on social media, let's face it, probably don't care about that.
may not,
And the people that do probably can't get out and come to one.
but we just have to rely on, we've got to do
I don't
something.
know, I don't know.
Social media is easy, if you got on Facebook, you
I was
can
gonna
say,
say,
Yeah.
potential volunteer
send it to
firefighters, age
multi-
18
yeah.
to 58.
you know certain people, I know certain people, Josh knows certain
I
people,
feel
Tracy
like-
knows certain
I
people
feel
in
like-
the township.
Regardless if you like him or not, it's the closest firehouse to the township seat in Pine Meadow. No matter how you stack it, it might be
we
a little
aren't
bit
just,
further away from
you know,
somebody's house,
we
but.
go way on back past Hoosier Prairie, I mean, too. I mean, this is, it's not just right here. We
Yeah.
do go down this way and we go down by, you know,
I know exactly where our township
Yeah.
is.
Isn't it just True Blood?
Yeah, I think it is True Blood.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
And True Blood is, you know, all the way to
but
Hoosier
most of the
Prairie.
people
and then
probably live here,
Harlan, anything south of Harlan,
you know,
and anything up to the Pearson line,
and
right?
246.
And I mean, we go all the way, right, to the Sullivan County line.
I mean, really, we're in a great spot to
We
not
are,
have
because you
fire
can get Prairie
department,
Creek,
'cause
you can
we've
get
got
Farmersburg.
Honey
The
Creek right up the
surrounding-
Honey
road.
Creek?
I mean, I feel like it's, I don't wanna say this, but to get a loan, buy a truck and all that, not have anywhere to put it, I mean, we're signing ourselves up for something long-term it's gonna break us. So we gotta figure out a way to pay for that before we just go do it. You know what I mean? We gotta have a plan.
Could the thing you talked about, I know that's all rumor and whatever else, and I know they talked about it for years, they've reduced township stuff. Do
Mhm.
you have a gut feeling on this? Like this could happen in the next year, or it's highly likely to
I
happen
don't-
next
I-
year? Or is this just?
I mean,
more
how
rumors?
much money are we working with by the time we pay them? How much we got left over? I mean, you got the financials, I don't know that.
so what do you mean? Like, when I
How
have a
much- how much-
budget,
How much
when I
money
have a
do you have
budget-
extra left over?
In the fire
set
fund?
aside for this?
In the
that you
fire
can
fund.
use?
nothing, like the cume fund is it. Because when the contracts have been done in the past, they've always been written up, not even with a number, which is not really the best way to do it, but with the amount that is budgeted will be given to the contracted party.
Yeah, and how much did we give him that same amount last year?
This year, he still is waiting the second installment. I'm waiting for the second installment to come through so that I can make payment, because I've made payment with 100% of the money that came through for fire protection on the first installment. I'm waiting for the second installment, which should have been here by today, but it's not, because they said next week, and this is 1 week from when that email went out. So
They probably mean working days.
So
they said next
if
week.
we start
Yeah,
a
but-
fire department, how much money we talking we need? Probably at least $100,000.
We're not going to get off cheap no matter what, because we don't have a volunteer fire department.
Yeah.
We have to contract. We have not budgeted adequately in the past. Nobody's interested in being our contracted party except for JC, at least at this point. Nobody has been interested in that because we don't have that much money contracted in.
Mhm.
Now, from what I understand, if you merge with another group, then you end up having more money coming to you from the state, not just from raised taxes. But if we merged with Pearson, then we're giving all the control over taxes in that direction. Like they can just, their decisions will be made that will be impacting our financials. If we go down the other direction and we contract with them and we merge with them, they would have the control, they have boards that are, the decision makers of the direction that things go. So whether we put more money into it here, we put more money into it there, we put more money into it there, we are not going to be able to continue to sustain this level of inadequate budgeting. So, I mean, I've added a little bit more during a rough year to add more, not a whole lot more, but I've added, you guys know that I took the budget for fire protection from 44 to 50,000. So we also have the CUME fund, and that's what I can say on that. Now, if we're going to start our own volunteer fire department, then yes, there would be loans that would need to be happening in order for this to move forward. And from what I understand, some of the townships have proactively started merging.
I'm sure. Because
And
it's happening. They don't want township government. Technology's killing all that stuff.
but it's the townships themselves that are making those decisions. So in order to have some control over where they merge and who they merge with,
Because they
they
can't
have,
get people to come to meetings and be active, and it's back to that. That's,
for whatever reason, it
So
might
the-
be that they haven't been able to have a trustee, like I had no idea, but they have some areas that don't even submit a budget
Can't
and they
get
just go
anybody
by the
involved.
previous year's budget. Like they've
A
got,
lot of stipulations for you if they run it that way and that weird, you would think it,
That is interesting.
yeah,
They've got all the rules in the world and then some don't even.
yeah, we're following every little nick and, every little I and T
and
dot
it's,
and
and
everything.
it's not gonna be about how well our township operates. They've made that very clear. It's not, the decision to close down a township will not be based on how good of a job that township is doing. I mean, to some extent, like if you're not uploading documents and things, then, that does reflect back on your performance, but it also reflects back on absence. And if they are not fully staffed, either in board or trustee, or capable of doing all of what needs to be done, then that's one of the ways that they're going to choose to close down townships. But those townships that have closed have continued with the previous fire protection. So my gut feeling on this is, if we want good fire protection, we have to get good fire protection before any kind of merger might happen, because it's not going to be our decision once we no longer exist. So if we have problems with response, we're going to continue to have problems with response because we will have the same contracted fire protection.
They wanted no part of us, right? When we started this?
Who?
Prairie.
Prairie Creek.
Prairie Town, Prairie Creek.
yeah.
Prairie Creek.
They have, at my request, told me what our tax burden would look like if we were to move forward with merging with them. And the thing is, what we don't know is what our tax burden would look like if we merged in the other direction.
So is that a question to ask him?
I mean, the thing is, you aren't gonna, like, nothing's on paper.
You're not
Like,
gonna know that
he's
until it's
gonna-
over.
Yeah, you're gonna know, like,
You can ask ahead
especially,
of time.
Yeah.
you
yeah, I
can
mean, it's not-
ask
yeah,
ahead of
or-
time.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask. And then afterwards, if it triples it, then it's like, you son of a bitch, you told us one thing, you did another.
But
That's a
then we're
load of
still
crap.
stuck with
But-
calling somebody a son of a bitch and still getting the exact same thing that we signed up for.
We still have control over the Cuban fund, right?
Yes.
So that's a start. That's
Which is-
something that our township owns that they can't take away, and it's a tax and it's revenue coming in.
Now, when you say that they can't take that away, if the
they
if the
dissolve
township
it.
merges with another group, then, and it would be a neighboring township. It could be in any direction, but it would be a
So-
neighboring township.
I don't know, I think this fire department thing is a year at least, if not 3 or maybe 4 or 5 out. That's a lot of money. You're gonna have to build a building, that's $100 grand. You're gonna have to buy a truck. I don't even know what that costs. I mean, you're looking at probably, if you're doing it right, almost $250,000,
Probably every bit of that,
at least,
every bit.
at
Well-
least.
Yeah.
So until we as a group can get together and try to make this better and bring the community together and come around, we're pissing up a road.
Well, part of the reason why I wanted to have a conversation with you guys before we really put it on out there is because as I'm finding out like the cost of a building, just a starter building, I'm finding out like about how many people, the truck that's available to us and how much that would cost. And, like I'm finding these things out but I'm not the one that makes that decision. And if you guys aren't interested in the, struggles that are going to come with it, because this is not an easy
No,
process,
it's not.
then I am not going to continue to waste anybody's time in looking into it, because I don't think that's fair. Like, you want to talk about what's fair and what's not fair? Like, yeah, is it fair to have a conversation with somebody when you're dissatisfied? Yes, it is. Is it fair to string somebody along and say, yeah, but we want a little bit more information? I mean, this man's already gone to Chicago and down to southern Indiana, southern Illinois, looking at another truck, and has put recruitment efforts out there and has looked at the numbers and has looked at, legal statutes and
Yeah.
put a lot of labor into it for
And I
nothing.
get that, but I'm trying to have the foresight and see that, we gotta get some money in our pocket before we do that, and that's,
Well,
Unfortunately,
can't-
my budget was due before the opportunity presented itself.
so we don't have any extra money at all that we can use for this for next year.
Long, long before I was here, and from what I understand, for many years, the contract has been written that the budgeted amount would go to the contracted services.
Yeah, but-
So even when it was here, 100% of that budgeted amount has been going out. It comes in, it
What
goes
about
out.
the rest of the township money? You can't use that you can't
It's
invest in
budgeted.
yourself?
It's budgeted into specific
Different
funds, and there may be a way to shift money from one fund to another fund. I did not put a whole lot of fat into that. Like, I put a little bit of cushion here, a little bit of cushion there. There is the weird hoops that I had to jump through for, future planning type of stuff. I don't remember
oh,
what.
you talked to us about that.
Yeah, where I put like estimated amounts for certain things, and they said there was a certain percent, and there's a possibility that we may be able to take that money that I've said that I was gonna buy these particular things for the future, that we could take that, and redistribute that. And I say we, meaning you, because I can't make those decisions,
Right.
but, and I don't know how to make all those changes. But the time frame for making changes to the budget, like, there was a short window of time in there. That time has passed, and this budget is moving forward, and they're planning for the taxes, and the installments are gonna begin in January.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just gonna say, as I understand it. There's a lot of like moving pieces, and every time I think I've got something figured out, then something's changing. So
Mhm.
like, even the forms that tell me the breakdown of my money and where my money is coming from and the amounts of the money, like, December's just out there. I've got money and I'm like, okay, but where do I put this money? What funds do they go into?
Mhm.
I don't know. My paperwork's not here yet. Money arrived and the paperwork isn't here for me to distribute it.
Well, I think it's fair to say that we all want our own firehouse.
Mhm.
Should we tell our potential chief, like, don't do any more trips? We don't want, it's not good to lead him on or waste his time. I mean, you guys think
Yeah.
we should have him stop. doing
Yeah,
that?
I don't want to offend him. I don't want to, my question is, if there are people that are interested in him being on his Linton Township department, why don't they want to just be on Linton Township, whether he comes or not, and work with JC at this point?
JC isn't Linton. If
But
we,
he'd like to have, I mean, why wouldn't he want people from Linton Township to help? People that are close here.
Like, if
I
they're gonna-
guess
if they're
I
gonna
don't
volunteer for us,
understand.
Why don't they volunteer for him?
well, that's a
Right,
question for
but-
them,
but
but they
they
may
can
have some
volunteer under-
personal,
I
they may
don't
have some
know.
personal beliefs and about where they want to be too.
Okay,
I mean, so
Okay.
they may
So-
want
I mean,
the
we're gonna put-
situation
we're
they're
gonna
in.
Put our personal vendettas.
I think it's
against
for the
somebody
township.
Over safety of the township.
I'm not doing
I'll
that.
be honest with you, I think this whole thing is just somebody doesn't like JC, and he's the one that stepped up, and they're trying to help us and make this as good as they possibly can. And
Okay,
I'm not trying to defend him, but there's nobody else out there stepping up saying, hey, we want to be your fire protection. If they did, I'd be like, hey, I'd want to listen to him, but there's
Right.
nobody here.
I would
But
love
we-
to listen.
Other
to
than
you.
this guy that wants to buy a truck, well, we don't have anywhere to put it. I mean, that's not real
I s-
right now.
I
You
just
know?
think we have too short of a time to figure it out this year.
Hmm.
To move forward down the road.
I mean,
But-
is there anyone else? Where are they at?
I mean, the thing is, personal vendetta, like, nobody tells me where I'm gonna work. And sure the hell aren't going to tell me where I'm going to volunteer. Like if I'm going to volunteer my time and my services, especially in a life-threatening situation, I'm going to be with people that I trust. So whether it's a personal vendetta
And I
or whether
get
they
that.
like the sleeping bunks and the nice little, like they've got a whole like entertainment area and food that's stocked over there, and you know they're treated well and they're respected, and maybe they like that situation.
Well, they
I
like
don't
that
know.
chief too. I mean, that's it.
I mean,
If I got a good boss, I'll put up with a bunch of crap to have a great boss who supports me and everything else. So if you were leading it, sure they do it. If not, okay. But maybe we just need to have, maybe we need to just rally Linton folks to say, we need folks to volunteer
Yeah,
for
you're gonna have
Pearson.
to
That's what I think.
Because we've got to have coverage. We cover our, this
Right.
is it. This is us. You're not
Yeah.
volunteering for them. This is for Linton Township. They do our fires.
So we have to get, and then at that point, maybe
have to
then
recruit.
you get a crew of people that you can gather around and then you move forward
And
from
we need to
that.
have
I
Jason
think
be a
that
part
at
of
that point, we're looking at 5-year plan.
Yeah, I mean, unless you've got $250,000 in that account I don't know about that we can just go
Or
buy
we
and
can
stuff. Cause
get
we
a
got
We
all
grant.
can't buy
new stuff.
cash.
If you
We
got
can't
all-
buy cash. Like
If you got all new stuff, it'll fill itself, I'm sure.
I mean, all these budget forms that I fill out and end of year forms, they're asking about debt. Do you have debt, 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 debt? No, I don't have debt. I don't have debt.
Let me ask you this.
Good.
Is it anything like a non-for-profit where if you have debt, they can't consolidate you? Do we need debt?
Is
to save
debt
the
going to keep us
township?
from being, no, they
I
will
don't
absorb
know
our
that.
debt.
Sometimes it's.
So if we are dissolved, then the group that takes us, takes our debt, takes our assets, and moves forward, just taking over the business of it.
How much can we borrow?
I don't know. Like, I mean, the thing is, I need to know, like, what level of commitment we have in doing this, because I'm spending a lot of time and he's spending a lot of time and money looking into this. And if we're not interested in it, if we think that, you know,
Well,
this
I
is
think-
good
I
enough,
think
then
we're all interested, but we don't have a plan to get to where we want to be.
We can't do anything
There's
fast.
a gap there. No.
And even if you found a truck now, I don't know how we pay for it. So it's like, stop looking for trucks. Maybe
you
in 6
get a
months, maybe
loan.
in
That's
a
what
year
Chris
and a half.
said. Chris said you'd have to get a loan.
Yeah.
I mean-
So if we don't know we get a loan for it, because I know, what, when you buy a house, 2.5 times your salary, that's what, I don't know how much we could ask for.
I wouldn't
You know,
have a
we
clue.
ask for $250,000, they say, oh, that's nothing, it's no problem.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
know our buying power, we
I
don't
don't-
know
right.
anything. I mean,
So-
all we know is we got hope and dream and we got somebody that wants to help us do it.
And
That's
if
all.
the
we
most we
know.
could borrow is 50,000, then we know that's not gonna be possible.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna be able to save up enough. 20 years we could have a volunteer fire department, but not anytime soon. How much does the cume fund build per year? How much do you think ballpark? Just ballpark, it's good.
I think whatever amount you guys put in when you establish it, I think that's in.
I can't tell you at all what that is. I just know if you, just ballpark.
I keep all my papers, but I didn't bring them.
Uh,
I should have, I guess.
Isn't it 5 cents on
$100 valuation thing.
yeah, any, can't remember how many.
Okay, it looks like $10,000 is what was in the cume fund for 25. Now, if we get $10,000 for 26, it's not going to arrive January 1st.
Right. Comes in 2 times.
So we're basically making $10,000 a year on that.
So
Is that what I'm understanding?
5 years.
So you got $10,000 in there now, and by the end of 26, you would have another 10.
So if we, over 5 years, we get $5,000 or $50,000 saved up, we don't touch it. And in 5 years, we gather some people to help out and get.
During
something
that
going
time, we
on.
build. During that
try
time,
to
we
get
hopefully
volunteers that
build.
maybe volunteer at Pearson
And-
or
and
at
we're-
Prairie Creek.
And we're gonna have to do it by fundraising, we're gonna have to hold events, do all that work, everybody's gonna have to go and be involved in that.
And there is another
That's what it's gonna take.
amount of money that comes in directly to each of the fire departments. So if we had a fire department, that money, there is a certain amount of money that's not accounted for on
There
my
would be a
balance sheet.
direct-
We would be contracting ourselves about $50,000 a year right there, so we could pay the bill with it.
I don't know. Okay, so you asked me my gut feeling. My gut feeling is I don't know that we're going to last for 5 years.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, I figured Mike Braun will probably try to get it done in about 4, so, and we got 3 left, so. I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, if we're gonna do this, we gotta like start now and we gotta plan and try to work towards it. We can't let another minute go by. We're obviously gonna go with him next year, right?
I feel
Not-
like we have to at
Oh,
this point.
there's
I
no-
mean, the thing is,
I
if
mean,
there's,
there's nobody beating the door down and say, hey, we want it.
but I haven't asked anybody else either. I know
Well,
that
I
this
mean-
is not, you know, Chief Bonham doesn't want our contract.
So you-
Like, he's
Right.
not into contracts. He's already got like a conglomeration of a group.
What's it, a township, what is it called,
It's a district or
District, yeah.
a
territory.
or a territory.
Yeah,
One, like,
because he is
And then they
that.
call it a fire board.
well, they have a board
That's what
that
it
makes decisions.
basically takes over your township government.
Mhm.
So that's probably where we're.
So, the board that Chief Bonham has still has township trustees.
Mhm.
The one that, my understanding that JC was looking at, I think was territory, right? Was it territory?
That sounds,
And the territory would dissolve because I know JC talked to me about like, yeah, the trustees position would be gone, but there might be a position on the board for either board members or the trustees. So we've got some representation from over here in order to make those decisions. But JC's operation of having, you know, his contractual situation here for us is not a charitable event. It's not like he's busting his ass to try to do what he can do for us, you know, out of the goodness of his heart. Like, he has a contract. We pay, and then services are rendered.
Yeah.
So we need to think about what our expectations are for the services. We already understand that we've got TransCare that's showing up as the first on the scene. And that is my number one concern. Like, if we're paying for these contracted services, then I want to know what the margin of error is in our surrounding townships and local townships of similar size and similar, you know, similar situations. Like, what is an acceptable amount of just not showing up at all? And,
It's back to their, you know, sometimes people got ball games, they got stuff going on, they got sick families.
exactly,
They
what
can't
is,
make it.
what's an acceptable amount?
I don't.
But if
know.
you aren't gonna make it, then,
I mean,
you know,
they're-
what is the plan
they're not
B?
gonna
Like,
make everyone. I mean, it's,
okay, so I
I mean, even-
asked my trustee that is in a department that's small like ours, but she has her own fire department and she does all the paperwork for them. So like, even though they have a chief, she's kind of
She double
taking care of
duties.
business. And I asked her how many calls they've missed. Her answer is 0.
Hmm.
0 calls this year.
Well, then she has a pretty strong department, which we didn't.
And
We
where's
didn't
that
have
at?
enough people.
we might just, can I ask?
I'd rather not say on a public forum here because I don't
Is it
want any
comparable
bad
size
blood
or
go.
big?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably smaller.
okay.
Well, she has some
Their budget
motivated
is
people.
larger, but her budget, because she's helped me with my budget numbers. Like, her budget is larger, but her budget's larger in part because she's got the volunteer fire department that she works with.
How active is their community in their stuff? You know, that's the second thing.
You know, I'm not,
I mean,
you know, the thing is, if you're not interested, you're not interested, and then I'm just gonna go on ahead and get a contract. Like, it's my job to get a contract. It's
Okay.
not my, you know, like, I get the contract, I get it signed. You guys decide. If you don't want me to look anywhere else, then I don't look anywhere else. If you want me to ask Chief Bonham if he's interested in a contract, I can ask him again. If you want me to ask,
ask them.
help me out, Farmersburg,
Mhm.
like where you lived, where you worked. I mean, if you want me to ask Farmersburg, we can ask Farmersburg what their price tag would be. We already know that Honey Creek price tag is going to be way too high for us, but
Right.
I'll ask. If you want me to ask, I'll ask.
Well, why
But
don't-
I
ask them
think that
all.
we need to have like a certain amount of expectation that you're getting paid to do a job and you do it.
It sucks. It sucks having this equipment now owned by somebody else when it's sort of centrally located where they can
Right.
get, so I mean, to have Honey Creek, and it's like, here, we have a building right here, they have,
Right.
it certainly isn't convenient all for them, sure it's convenient for them.
Right.
But we've got this equipment, we've got this building, we've got these resources. and they aren't being used.
Honestly,
Yeah.
but honestly, I think a lot of it is they don't have the manpower. They have enough for theirs because they started there and they can't get nothing here.
Well, I just think we need
They
to.
took on the contract. If they can't
Well,
fulfill
I
the
mean,
obligation, then we need to go
I
somewhere
don't,
else.
I think they're trying. I don't think they're out there.
I don't think it's deliberate that things, yeah, I don't think it's deliberate that things, but I think that, you know, if I'm gonna buy a car, I'm not gonna buy a lemon if I know it's a lemon. You
Right.
know, it like, my car, I just put two engines in it twice and it barely had 80,000 miles on it. Like, would I go out and buy another one? No, I would not. I
Right.
would buy something different because I know it's not reliable.
Yeah, well, I guess we're gonna have to get a price. I thought you had done that already. This is,
I think at this
So
point,
it's me.
well, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, because I'm trying to put this out here and I'm trying to gauge interest and you guys sounded like you were interested and you were,
yeah,
like, you wanted to have
I
your
think-
community
but
building
it's
back
not-
and
It's not feasible.
it had to move quicker in the beginning for it to be even possible.
Yeah, for him to go get
But
that
for,
truck. we probably
but
should
for
have-
me
I
to,
mean, you think
Yeah.
we're gonna
If
start
you
a
don't
fire?
I
want
think
me
we
to
started too late and we were unrealistic. I know, I always think, oh, let's just do this. Well, we just can't do it. It takes longer. So I don't think I think every single one, I know I want only the best for our department, but I still don't understand why it wouldn't be a good thing for us to recruit and stick with him this year and try to recruit some people and see where we're at early in the year. If you want to get some prices for next year, to me, that would make sense. But I think we're just too far into, 2 days we have, period.
now, and I will say that our contracts typically have not been signed until mid-year when the
And that's-
checks have
that's
come
okay.
through. And it's not the way that I want to do things. I
Right.
don't want
No,
to
I
continue
want-
doing that, but it's always been an assumption, when you've got your own volunteer fire department, that they would be the ones
Of
to have the
course.
contracts, and that's
Right.
just the way it went. And then there was a lot of conversation that happened last time in order to, set up the situation with our contract with Pearson.
Mhm.
I guess one question I would ask you to ask, what can we borrow? That answers so much right there. So
Yeah.
if they say, well, you can't borrow anything, you have no property anymore other than the abandoned and whatever else. And, you can only borrow 10% of the valuation of that property, so you can borrow $10,000 and now we learned a lot, right? That we can't do diddly squat.
Yeah.
When they say you can't borrow, oh yeah, you can borrow up to $500,000. Now we have some doors that are open.
We have some.
I know. Initially, I was shut down in saying, well, you don't have volunteers. You can't do it without volunteers. And then we had volunteers. Well, you don't have equipment. And then we had equipment. And it's like, well, but now we need a truck. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. We can't have a truck unless we've got a place to put a truck. And then it's like, I got a quote for a building. I got,
What
got
was the
some-
quote?
it was 80,000 for, like, it still needed to have work done after that, but it was just for the building, like,
Shell.
yeah, just the shell, the groundwork would already have to be done, gravel floor, you can put concrete in later, it's needed electrical, which, we might be able to get some help with that, need to have plumbing, but once you've got like a small building like that, it doesn't take much to insulate it, and once it's insulated, it takes very little to heat it.
I don't know about that. Metal buildings are easy to heat,
Mine is.
is it? I don't know. I-
Yeah, you just gotta insulate.
Yeah,
and
but
you
that's
do the
more
furnace.
expense. I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's more
that's
expensive, but I mean,
expense.
we've got foam board in ours and it's,
Metal's pretty good. I put a metal roof on my rental house and then.
Yeah, I didn't know, because I was just thinking of a cold metal barn, but maybe I don't.
Yeah, you gotta insulate.
Yeah,
Okay. So a question, I guess, if you find out how much we can borrow,
okay. But it also sounds like you want me to get quotes from, or gauge interest from our surrounding potential contracts.
Yeah, but we got 2 days,
oh, not for
You
this
know-
year, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, for
next
this
year.
year. I mean, like, we were still having these conversations well into the year last year.
Mm.
Like,
You can do that biannually, I guess. Is that what they call it? Every 6 months?
I don't
Is
know what the
that
rules
the
are. I know
payment?
that we've got people in this state that are having townships with no contracts at all and just relying on mutual aid. We're not going to do that.
Huh,
Okay.
I don't want that
We're
either.
not going to do that. But if it takes a little bit longer to negotiate and figure out what we want, but so far we've come up with what can we borrow? And I don't think it's going to happen in 5 years, and talking about like the four of us doing recruiting when we've got somebody who's already recruiting, like I'm not taking on recruiting. I'm just not. I
It's
don't
not so
have
much
deep
about
roots here.
recruiting, it's about community involvement.
I don't
That is the job, you know, that's the position. We probably should be doing something like that anyway, you
We,
know?
we should have more
To
community
fundraise
involvement.
and stuff like that, get to know people and
I mean, I had suggested fundraising with Mike when I first came up here. And he told me that he didn't want to do like a chili dinner type of thing because they lost money on it because there wasn't enough people showing up. Like,
no,
well,
that's
I mean,
a
okay.
real possibility.
It is, it's true.
People don't want to do that stuff, you know?
But this community seems to very much be interested in this community when it comes to this building and the Pimento School building. And like, there does seem to be a
Yeah,
lot of people
they
that
care,
have
but they don't want to do
interest.
any work. That's how people are nowadays. That's why we just sit here and talk all the time, because it's just us, you know?
What was the attendance at that dedication?
I mean, people came in from multiple states, so it's not,
So, I mean,
so-
what would you guess was the percent?
Oh.
How many people from, you know, whatever, from this township-ish, what would you guess?
I don't know, 40 or 50 people were maybe there, but they had people, like I said, from out of, I
So that was
saw,
everybody?
I
That was
saw
total?
I saw two families that I recognized. Large families that, like from this area that I
So it's
recognized.
40 or 50 total?
And then there was a
From
third
everybody,
family.
and then only a small select group?
Yeah,
is from
so,
local.
so I think, I know like 3 families where it was like a large family, like
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
they're coming.
So very small number.
And old.
Okay, I guess it would be old, yeah, because it's.
Older,
yeah, You would
yes.
expect that, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
saw
just trying to
people
think of a
that-
big function, something that.
People that required help with walking on uneven surfaces, you know, assistive devices were there. And, you know, there were young people, younger people, I mean, young, like I'm not young, but they were like my age people that were out there too. I mean, but
I'm with you, Josh. We're not in an era of a tremendous amount of volunteer.
No, everybody in this day and age is out for themselves. That's,
And life is more complex, you know, you
Yeah.
have to check computers. You don't just rely on checking your answering machine, you know, your phone, you're at all the time. Christmas Eve, I got a phone call that said, 1,600 people in the county don't have insurance right now. I'm like, what? So, I mean, my job never stops.
Oh, you mean for the school?
Yeah.
I saw where they messed it up again.
The corporation did.
No,
Well, yeah.
right,
Not
that
healthcare.
they changed the date. Pfizer changed to Humana. You guys are going back to Anthem, or they're going back to Anthem's what I
Nobody
heard.
else did.
okay. So as far as addressing these concerns with JC, what concerns do you have with our current fire protection?
What I got written down so far is someone on staff 24 hours a day. What is an acceptable amount of basically not showing up to calls? If we merge with Pearson, what do you think the tax burden would be on Linton Township
Good job.
folks?
Yeah.
What
What percentage are they showing up to? Well, maybe also, you know, like,
percentage?
or how many calls out of, you know, how many calls do you get out of, how many calls you got?
So how many Linton Township?
I
calls
don't
are
think
you
this
getting?
should be a percentage because the percentage should be so low that it should not be
How many
measured in
calls per
percentage.
week are you
Like,
getting for Linton Township?
So
well,
how, you tell me how to
like
word
how
it.
many-
I don't.
okay, so wait a minute. Are you wanting to know how many calls we have, like in total?
How many calls in Linton
Sure.
Township?
Well, how many runs?
Okay.
Runs, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Okay.
Yeah, the idea-
I misunderstood what you were saying.
How many runs in Linton Township?
Right,
per
how
week?
many,
For a
right.
year, we could do.
Well, I'm just trying to get a small number.
I
whatever,
think
something you can
maybe a
ballpark for us.
monthly total
Okay.
or something, you know, or a total or a monthly total, I don't know, something like that. I think, you know, my concern was the mutual aid. That was my biggest concern, just because my mom's house is so close and a lot of people live over in there. I mean, that's where I kind of was from.
Yeah.
I want to see some people from Linton Township, you know, step up. That's
Yeah.
what I want to see. We can't just always expect other people to do our little township and then sit and complain about it. I think we need to get some people that, you know, I'm willing to try to get people, I'm semi-retired.
But I don't know the angle and what.
Yeah, I don't know either,
that.
but I thought,
You can put it
I
on
know some
Facebook,
people
but
that
I
I
don't
can
think that-
call and just say, you know, how, and Bianca and Chris, you know, we could talk to Bianca about like how back in the day, Chris Nickerson's still alive and she's in good shape. You know, Chris, Bill's wife, she was the one that was in charge of the concession at South for years, big
Oh,
tall blonde.
WW.
Yeah, I mean, Chris could certainly give some ideas. She lives right by my parents, my mom's house, not my parents, my mom's house.
So any other questions that I had here? Or anything you should add?
I want to know what the future of this building is, what kind of plans he's
Well,
got.
yeah, what plans?
About manpower, stuff like that, maybe keeping somebody here all the time.
Yeah. Is he willing to, you know, work with, if we get some volunteers from Linton Township, are you willing to, you know, work in tandem with them
Set
on
somebody
good,
up.
in good faith, you know, to train or to,
Should I ask, what should we ask, why aren't our trucks being used?
I think they're being used myself, because they were dirty whenever we back here looking at them.
But those logs hadn't been filled out, which was a little interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're firefighters. Me coming from a physical work background, I'm not worried about paperwork. I did my job. That's good enough. We're going home. You know what I mean? Yeah, school teacher.
Yeah, people like
you guys are like, oh, we gotta do the paperwork.
we have to
Yeah.
document
we'll do-
everything.
No.
Some-
In
100
nursing, they say
times.
if you didn't document it, you didn't do it.
Well,
That's a
We have
mark.
deadlines for- we have deadlines
You're
for
right.
reason, though. It's gotta get done.
That's a
eventually.
med administration record.
We-
Even
have
if you
four
gave it
minutes
to me,
all
you
of
didn't
it.
write it
Not just
down.
med administration, that's
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
But if there aren't good answers here and it's not being, it's just
Yeah.
like, that's a
Right.
concern.
And then we ask him the questions and then we decide how can, you know, what can we do to work together and get this solved? And
I mean,
in
obviously.
the
there's a-
meantime, we look at other options if that's what
There's a
everybody
call
wants
log
to
out
do.
there. I'm sure if you dig hard enough, you can look and see exactly what they've done and what they haven't done.
Yeah.
If we could get a hold of that, check that, that'd be great.
No idea.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know if you can do that, but.
I got pushback.
Oh, you got put when you asked for something, when you were looking into something?
Yeah, when I looked into things, I got pushback.
I'm sure.
And I was told to go back to the fire chief and ask the fire chief, but the thing is, we're trying to look out for our best interests. And we can expect that anybody that we're talking to is going to be looking out for theirs too.
Mhm.
So if they don't want our contract because it's too much of a pain in the butt to mess with, then you know what? That's putting that kind of workload on for the amount of money that we have might not be something that's in their best interest. If it's in their best interest, is it in their best interest for them to start up to be agreeable to us starting up a volunteer fire department? Probably not. I mean, that is not the sales pitch that you guys have been given for years. You guys were told that this is the direction it's going to go in, and then there was
We've had 1 year.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this for years.
what?
This is 1 year, right?
This
Of
is the
what?
first year that we've gone with a contract and we've got
Yes,
to the
but
point where
prior
we
to
had.
this, you guys thought you had all of your stuff taken care of and that it was already a done deal. Like I specifically remember the phrase "done deal" and getting a lot of pushback when I said, "Wait a minute, there's no done deal because I can't find any documentation of done deals anywhere." Like you thought you had a done deal and that it was going to happen, that there was going to be a merger with the Pearson Township. Like it was a done deal. That's what I was told.
So, glorious
It,
days. Okay, so what else do we want? What else?
Can you think of anything else that would be pertinent?
When you think about your ideal fire protection, not your ideals for the community and like community involvement and all that, when you think about your ideals for fire protection, what are your priorities?
Answer every call.
Do the
Okay.
best they can. You know, be
Yeah.
able to be trained properly, have the proper equipment and respond as quickly as they can for a volunteer department.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty commonsensical, basic expectations, I would say.
I have another question. Why was mutual aid denied, or why was
Why
there,
did it-
why was
why
that
is there-
adjusted and not being
And I
told
have
to
no
us?
documentation
Correct.
of that.
See, that's.
I don't
see,
have documentation of that
There's a
because
lot of
I got some
hearsay.
pushback. This
Um,
isn't just hearsay. This is, I went and had a conversation, and right after I had that conversation, I was contacted and said, hey, guess what? We're starting to get calls for your department again.
Mm.
Like, this is not hearsay of,
Yeah.
I don't have written documentation, and I could not get answers when I talked to the appropriate person that could have given me the answers.
Mm.
They wanted to give
Who
me
is
an
that person?
attitude.
That could give you the proper information. Is that through
Somebody
dispatch?
through the sheriff's department.
Dispatch.
How do I word this? Why was mutual aid declined for a while? Why was it
Why
adjusted?
was it declined?
Was, I would not say
Who-
why, because.
How about who is on our list for mutual aid? And what is our plan B if we are on a run? Like, who responds if we are already responding to something? If they are responding to a call and a second call comes in, who's responding to that?
Okay. So
What
if,
scenarios?
if they respond to the first call, who responds to a second call if they already have someone
Yes.
out? Okay.
Yeah. And in what circumstances?
Hold on a second. I'm on 2 words. right
That's
now.
fine.
Okay, so if there's a response to one call, who responds to a second call? Okay. Oh, what were you
Yeah.
gonna say?
Um,
Sorry,
that's okay.
forgot.
In what circumstances would there not be a call answered? Like, in the one situation, we're thinking, okay, well, if they're already on a call, then they would not necessarily be the ones to respond to the second call. It would have to be somebody backing up. But what other situations might lead to not responding to a call?
The timing of those 2 incidents were rather fishy. All of a sudden you inquired, and a day or 2 later, all of a sudden now mutual aid is being provided. Same thing kind of happened. We were talking about the roof that's never been addressed. All of a sudden, what he hears word of, I don't know. I would definitely ask him, who's telling you all this stuff? And he'll say, I'm not going to tell you. But I'm like, I'd like to know.
Well,
You don't have to tell me, but I sure would like to know. I'm really curious, because when we got upset, all of a sudden now the roof gets fixed. Why should we
Well,
have
I-
to
He
do
told
that?
me
We
that.
have
Nobody just-
Meetings.
Nobody just, I
You should
don't
have
think,
all on YouTube, and you just watch those, and this is our concern,
Yeah,
and
I
I just
don't-
don't want to get into that. It's
I
just
don't
like-
think that somebody came out here and fixed the roof between the time that we said, hey, the roof isn't
Mm-mm, it was
fixed.
already fixed.
Because that's
Oh, it
not,
was
it.
fixed?
Yeah.
I don't think
That's what
that's-
he said. He said,
I
your
don't think
roof's
that's
already
possible.
fixed, is
That
what
was
he
like
told me.
a.
Yeah, I don't think that,
Month and a half
Yeah,
ago,
well,
something like
when
that.
the first time he called me, I don't remember the date exactly,
Yeah.
but it's on my phone. You know,
but the only
He's
way
called
that
me
we
twice
care
'cause he
about this
called-
building is if this building is an asset for our fire protection. Like, it's not ours.
Yeah,
But the only way that we ask about this building, which is not ours, is in the context of our fire protection. Like, they have this asset of the building and the garage and the trucks and the equipment. Like, how much time is anybody spending over here?
And it's-
How many
it's
responses are
back to
coming
no
from here?
people. But maybe.
I'm not
maybe-
making excuses for him. If he wants to make his own excuses, he can make his own excuses. But if there's recruitment that needs to be done, then, and he needs some help with it, then he can reach out to us and say, hey, listen, I've tried to recruit, but I could really use some help.
That's
Mhm.
cool.
But,
I'd be willing to help. I
but
just wanna
I,
make
I
our
can play
area
devil's
better.
Show
advocate
me
all
what
day
to do, how to
long.
use some of the stuff. I'll jump in a truck. I don't care.
My husband said he'd warm it up. I don't know.
I'm-
He
I've
said,
been
I'll,
pretty good at starting
drive.
fires.
I'm
I'm sure I
retired,
can
I'll
put 'em out
drive over
too."
and start it, you know? He's driven semis, so I think he could drive a fire truck. But he's not gonna, he probably just would never go on a call. But I mean, and we have, like I said, I know I could do some fundraising, but we have to do it. We have to make a plan and follow through, and maybe it will fall
I'll
through.
tell you, this township is really in a good spot. If you really think about it, we've got the battery plant going on, we've got there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that are moving down here, they're sitting their
People
schools
would
North
love
Central,
to-
but they still wanna live in Vigo County.
Yep,
I mean, there's a lot of.
Okay, the battery plant, is that going in on industrial?
yep,
Because
Yeah.
that tax money goes directly to
I
Honey
know,
Creek.
it always
I know, but
does,
I'm
but
talking about
that's,
people
she's talking
who
about the people
live
that
here.
move
Yeah.
here, that will get good jobs. I know people that would love to live in this area, love to live here, but there aren't enough houses for sale in
Yeah.
this area. That's the big
Yeah.
problem. And your farmers will not let go of their land. That's the, this is a very farming community, and there
And we
are,
need farms. you know,
absolutely.
We need farms.
I'm a farmer's daughter. Are you kidding? I love the farmers. I'm not saying that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying they want their land for, the last thing you ever want to do to a farmer is tell them, oh, we're gonna sell your land and put houses on it.
Yeah.
They will flip a lid,
Wow.
flip a lid.
Okay, we've got plenty of questions to ask. So what do we want to do then? Invite JC and have a conversation
I
then?
think we need to talk to Chris about the status of the contract and let him know the concerns that we have so that those can be addressed within the contract.
So do we need to schedule another meeting with him and Bianca then?
What do you guys think?
What do you think?
I'm taking direction from the board. If you want him to come out here and talk to you guys, then he can come out here and talk to you guys. If you want me to take the list that has been created here and present that to him, then I can do that.
What do you think, Debbie?
Personally, I would like JC to respond to our questions, and I would like Bianca and Chris to be here if they would. And at this point, I feel like we need to go with JC at this point, let him know that. And you check on the loan, or if you want, I don't know exactly how to do it, but I know a lot of people that are bankers too. You call, that's what, as a
Okay,
township,
Do
know.
I need to go and elicit potential contracts from anybody else? Or have you guys already made up your mind that what we've got is good enough no matter what? Because
Well-
if it's the building's gonna stay the same and the operations are gonna stay the same, and this is not going to be an occupied space and the equipment may or may not be used, then, and if it doesn't make any difference, then there's no reason to have a conversation. Just hand him the contract and let him sign the damn thing.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think we
mean-
need to discuss it, and we need to air our concerns, and he needs to be able to respond.
Yeah.
I just never seen a situation where people say things, but we don't know really what the truth is. I'm not saying that people talk to you are lying. I'm just saying I think we need to hear it.
And I'm fine. I don't know how you guys feel, give him our list of questions. You know, come to our meeting. These are the questions we're going to be
Right.
asking you.
I
To
mean,
give
I'm
him a
not
fair
trying to-
chance to look at it, whatever it is.
Let him respond.
I'm not trying to catch someone making an honorable mistake either, because when he says it's like, oh, I don't know, had you given me this, I could have looked
Yeah.
up some of these numbers, and I can't give him off the fly, so.
Give him a chance
Yeah,
to
give him-
explain
yeah,
it.
so I'm fine with that. So we want to schedule a meeting then with the 5, 6, 7 of us then? 7 of us, Chris, Bianca, and JC? Is that what we want to do?
I think to me, it makes sense. Maybe I look at things differently. I don't know. I would think if somebody's going to accuse me of things or say I'm not doing things right, I want the chance to say, well, this is how I did it and this is why I did it. And, and if I made a mistake or if I didn't do it right, personally, I would admit it. I would just say, yeah, I dropped the ball on that. I don't know. To me,
He could reach out also and have said, hey, I'm providing a service.
right.
Maybe it's been 6 months, maybe we should have a meeting, I can tell you what I've been
Right.
doing.
Well,
And
he
that would
did.
Go a long way too, to reach out and say, let me tell you what I'm doing for
Right.
your
But
folks,
he-
I'm not earn your money.
Yeah.
Sure
But he did say that to me, though. He
Yeah.
did say, when Tracy said he just happened to call you, and he really did just
And address
happen
all
to
of the,
call me.
all of the concerns that we had just discussed days before.
No. What-
Yeah, at the meeting days before, you said by the date that he gave you, it was like right after we all had met and discussed these things. And then he's calling you to say, here's what I'm doing. Hey, the roof has been done and paint colors are out here and.
What
and
this
you
is what he
addressed your
told.
concerns that you had with your family's mutual aid.
Because I
type
knew that I
situation.
could be honest, and that was my concern. But no, I don't.
She
I don't-
called you shortly after our
Yeah.
meeting.
Right, but I don't think there's anything in this building. And JC said, what he said to me is, I said, well, we have some concerns, and I put it in the text. He would like to address the concerns. Nobody answered, so I
But
said,
the thing is,
okay.
we have concerns and we discussed those concerns with Chris, and Chris was supposed to be the one to address those concerns. Like, if we're trying to negotiate, you don't like, I mean, if you're playing cards, you don't show them your hand. You come forward and you say, hey, here's what we have concerns about, and let's talk about this.
Right.
But like, just like the previous contract, we didn't sign the first contract that was sent, and they didn't sign the first contract that we sent to them. This went back and forth until we got our contracts into something that was mutually agreeable.
Mhm. Well,
They
that's
wanted
how
me to
contracts
show,
are.
demonstrate insurance for, that's exactly right, but this is not like a goodwill situation. This isn't like a charitable situation where they're providing these services out of the goodness of their heart. There's a contract that's there.
Yeah, I
Like,
understand.
and the contract says that they're gonna respond to our fire and EMS needs.
Correct. So I
The
think we-
contract does not say anything about this building or
Okay.
occupying the space or using the equipment or having people
Okay.
down here to respond. Like, if you guys want people to be down here and you guys want to do the recruitment of that, then,
We need to specify in the contract.
exactly.
I understand that.
But if I'm, you do it, I'm at the service of the board. So, but my understanding after that last meeting was that we had a plan moving forward. And that plan was going to be to allow our legal representative to do the negotiations of the contracts.
Well, of course.
Of
So
course,
Are you saying, so we should not meet as a group of 7? That is not, we shouldn't meet then?
no, I'm saying that, like, if we were going to allow our legal representative to negotiate the contract, then we don't need to be putting our 2 cents worth in and taking text message, phone calls and discussing our own personal issues on it. We either need to decide that, hey, we don't need a lawyer and we just need a contract and just let him sign it. Or, and we're going to have these conversations and.
So do you
move forward with
think,
that.
I'm just asking, so you're telling me as a board member, I do not have the right to call
I'm
JC,
not
or I'm not, that's inappropriate for
I'm
me to
not
call
saying-
JC?
I'm not saying that it is your
If I
right
have a
or
concern and
not
I'm
a
a board
right.
member?
I am saying that when we left that meeting, I thought we had a plan and
I
I
did
thought I
too, but
understood
Chris
the
never,
plan.
I obviously never sent anything.
Yeah. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
If he did, we haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
I thought, my understanding, I guess
I mean, I
didn't
can
understand it.
have a
All kinda
contract
waiting on-
January 1st. It'll be the same contract as what we've had in the
Somebody else.
past, and
Right,
it
but-
will be, if you guys want to have the contract signed January 1st, I'm sure JC will sign the contract January 1st. I can have a
No.
contract that says you're going to get X amount of dollars. It's going to be the $50,000 that's in the fire fund that's already allocated for fire protection and EMS. And that you will provide our fire protection services. I get to use this space if I want to continue using this space. And that I will show my insurance that I am covered in case I get injured within this building. That's pretty much what that contract said. And if we want to do that January 1st, bam, we can do it. Just right then and there. Like, he doesn't need to have any kind of discussions. He doesn't need to ask any questions. We don't need to figure out whether or not, there's a certain percentage of calls that are being missed.
But those are our concerns. Why would we not voice our concerns?
Yeah, that's what we
I'm
met
very
for. We were talking
confused.
about
Why
I mean,
would
that
you-
was-
Do you want to meet with him or not?
Why are you, okay, you guys are the board.
Yeah, well, I think we.
I
all
need to
do.
follow
That's
the
why we came
directions
here.
that you guys give me. And the directions that you guys gave me as of the last meeting, my understanding was we had our lawyer there, we had our legal representative, he had a plan, we had a plan, and that plan was going to move forward. Now, I have also
But he
heard some
didn't do
implications.
anything.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's,
that's what we all-
thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
was
he
waiting
didn't-
for you.
Chris didn't do it, and I understand it's a busy time of year, it's hard to get a lawyer to do
And
From a guy who's dealt with several. I haven't paid my dad's taxes from a year and a half ago, and it's gonna be 2 years because I can't get a lawyer to do the damn paperwork.
Oh,
Um,
no.
So do we want to meet with Chris, or want me to call
Yeah, I
Chris
mean,
and say, hey,
I
you
thought
were
we were
gonna
gonna meet
reach
with him.
out? So do you guys want me to call Chris and say, hey, Chris, where are we at on the letter?
I mean, I can contact Chris and ask him about the letter, but I think what we're going to get is if we have concerns, we need to express those concerns back to Chris so that he can put those things in the letter, because that was what you have to do. If you guys want to see certain things in the contract, then we can put certain things in the contract.
So do we reach out to Chris?
No, I'm still in this meeting.
Let's wait.
Time is it?
7:50. Oh, boy.
All right.
Let's finish up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying. All right, you too,
So do we want to reach out to Chris, say, well, maybe what does he recommend? We have a list of a whole bunch of questions here. I can take a picture of this and give it to, see, like, do you want to meet Chris? Or do you want to put these in the letter? Or do we say, hey, Chris, we want to meet with JC face to face and talk about this? What do we?
I want to meet with JC.
I do too.
Okay.
That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's just, so then forget
then-
the Chris sending the letter thing with these, we'll just.
Right,
write it in,
then we
this
just
is
need
done.
we need to tell Chris
Okay,
that the
tell
board
him.
has decided that they want to meet with JC, ask questions.
Do you
And
want
I
to-
Answers
fine.
with him present.
Yeah, and I'm
With him
actually
present.
fine to have Bianca and Chris come because
Oh, I'd
they're
love
a
to be
wealth
here.
of information.
Oh, yes.
I would like to invite them if they want to come.
And I would like
He-
to know if they know more about like the future of the townships and those kind of, like, because if they
Right.
have some sort of insights that they've already heard from that, then, you know, that
It's a
could
moot point, really.
change, that
mean,
could change our
If we're gonna be
perspective on things.
gone, it doesn't really matter what we think. It's
I mean,
gonna-
it does matter what we put in place before we
Right,
leave,
I
because
get
that's
that, but-
likely what's going to perpetuate.
What's a date that works for us that we can then throw out to Chris and Bianca and JC?
Whatever.
I don't have my January schedule at ARC yet, but I could probably try to work around it.
And say this
Angel will
week
be
is-
getting it to me
This
pretty
week's
soon.
out, yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say this week's out, but
How about if I contact Chris and see what his first available is?
Sure. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty available. Our times are like 6:30. I'm available almost any time at 6:30.
So we
okay.
gotta vote on that, don't we? Have a motion to have a meeting with JC, Chris Gamble, Bianca Gamble on board, and Tracy. Have a motion for that?
I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it.
Leave my BCTA meetings, man. Sorry.
It's all right, buddy.
It's all right. Okay. Motion for meeting. For board. Trustee. To discuss, what questions?
Concerns,
Concerns, okay.
concerns.
Um. How do you spell unanimous?
UNAMIOUS? Unanimous?
I don't think there's an I, but
No?
Unanimous.
You know what I do? I go like
So you
this.
don't check spellings?
Unanimous.
that's right.
You don't wanna.
I could be wrong.
There it is.
Unanimous.
It looks like something to us. All right.
There's an I.
Unanimous,
UN.
okay.
ANIMOUS.
Hughes, Will.
No I, no I.
No, there is an I.
There is? Oh. Oh, God, it's saying,
Ahead of time. Okay. All righty. So you're calling, the Gambles, you said,
I will email.
Ms. McNeil? Okay.
So are we going to decide on the contract for next year? Or are we waiting, or what are we?
I mean, at this point, I make a
Next
motion
year?
that we accept, or that we maybe write, I don't know if we can write a new one, but we discuss that at the next meeting on what we want in the, can we say we make a decision on, or, I don't know how you word it, but like,
Reevaluate the contract with with Pearson.
right,
Change the verbiage.
So I don't know if we have to make a motion for that, because we have to evaluate
Yeah.
contracts,
Yeah.
so we'll,
So we're
Yes.
not gonna have any fire protection until we sign that?
I don't think it works that way. I think any contract is valid until you up and.
I'm asking.
Well, I think
Yeah.
like, even for like renters, whatever your lease is, if you don't do a new one, it
Oh,
just
yeah.
carries over month by month. I'm assuming the same thing here. They're not gonna.
I don't know. if
You said it
that's
takes
true.
6 months for them to even get a check.
No, in the past,
Yeah.
like, when I looked at the previous contracts, it wasn't unusual for them to get signed April, May.
I think we
you
made
know,
the
and
decision.
that's not what I want
So I
to do,
think-
but I mean,
If JC, he's the one who wanted to push it, like, hey, I don't want this signed now, then I guess we'd have to decide something.
Right.
But I don't think he's gonna do that.
No, I wouldn't think so.
All right. Okay. All
That's
right.
good.
All righty.
Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Debbie.
Trip. Yeah, that's all I need.
Sorry, I'm going to pick up my son.
There we go.